This message is brought to you by Apple Card, Shave Ice by the beach, a trip to the state fair, and a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
Low energy, unfocused, foggy? You might be dehydrated. Whether it's hot yoga, over 100-degree weather, or too much sun. Gatorlyte, with a specialized blend of 5 electrolytes, was scientifically designed to help move fluids into the body faster for rapid rehydration. Shop now at retailers nationwide. Gatorlyte hydrates faster than water. Is it in you? Symptoms noted are signs of mild to moderate dehydration. Consult a healthcare professional if symptoms persist.
The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire. The human postponer. They were the master of one phrase. I'll circle back on that. But 3 months later, you are the one doing all their work and wondering how big that circle is. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can take the hiring load off your plate by automating the hiring busy work from the initial job post to scheduling interviews. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. And now, your host, Steve Collins.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Coach Unplugged. I am so happy that you decided to join us. If you like this podcast, you should go over and listen to a bunch of the other ones in our network, with like the 5-Minute Basketball Coaching Podcast, or High School Hoops, or Coaching Youth Hoops. All of those are, I think, interesting, and we would love if you left a 5-star review. You can leave those 1-star reviews at home. But before we jump into the topic today, I'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish. Mention Coach Unplugged, and you'll get $450 off. You'll get great customer service. It is, I can tell you from someone that's still coaching, it has helped my team immensely. I can't tell you the number of shots that we have taken on our Dr. Dish machines. And then also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. 25 years ago, when I took over a program that no one wanted, that had 5 winning seasons in 35 years, I was the only applicant. No one wanted it. I would have killed for a resource like teachhoops.com. It took me years to turn it into a national powerhouse. And I have put all that secret sauce inside of teachhoops.com. So come over and check it out. 14-day free trial. It will give you the roadmap. It will give you me. It will give you one-on-one calls and office hours, and a community of like-minded coaches. I think you'll love it. Let's head off to the podcast. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Coach Unplugged. I'm so excited you decided to join us. Coach Bill and I are going to talk about one of my favorite topics in coaching youth hoops. But if you want to hear more from Coach Bill and I will put the link down below. Check out our podcast that we do weekly. Actually, we're doing it twice a week right now. Go over and check out Coaching Youth Hoops podcast. Check it out down below, and let's head off to the podcast.
Welcome to the Coach Youth Hoops podcast. Today we have a special guest, Marty Plum. So big round of applause for Marty. Marty is the head varsity coach at Fort Calhoun Community Schools in Fort Calhoun, Nebraska, which is just right outside of Omaha. He has over 27 years coaching experience and a fellow podcaster. So go on over, search for a Pen and a Napkin podcast, start listening, but first listen to ours and then head over to Marty's. Marty, thank you so much. I've been listening to your podcast for a while. I love your interviews that you've been doing. I think you have a great style about it, and I think we share some of the same philosophies and feelings. So I wanted to get you on our podcast to talk about today how volunteer parent coaches, etc., can work with varsity programs such as what you're running at Fort Calhoun, and then also your role in developing and helping those coaches grow and work with those students. So that's going to be our topic today. Yep. Does that sound like a good one to you?
Hey, it's your world, Bill. I'm just living in it, man. So tell me what you need me to do, and I'll do my darndest to help you out.
All right. Anything you want to add about your coaching experience? Any highlights you want to brag about? This is the time. So you don't turn us off right now. So
you're making me feel old when I started doing that math here a little bit ago. But
well, you don't look old, so
I appreciate it. No, it's been a great journey. Basketball has been wonderful to me.
Quickly, how did you get started? You said you started when you were 21 when we were talking off air.
So long story short, I was in college,
Mm-hmm.
and my cousin Sarah was a 6'1" post player that was averaging about 20 points and 10 rebounds a game. And the head coach at the college that I was at, Briarcliff College in Sioux City, Iowa, Mike Power was his name. He was recruiting my cousin without. I didn't know that he was recruiting my cousin Sarah. Mike didn't know that I was Sarah's cousin. And when he found out that I was Sarah's cousin, he wanted to get to know me a heck of a lot better after that. So that led to one thing, led to another. And it was kind of this baby step forward thing. And Mike asked me to help him coach that fall. And one of the best decisions I ever made. And I can't thank Mike enough. I will always be eternally grateful for Mike giving me the opportunity to get started in the game and being a coach. And here we are, 27, 29
That's
years,
amazing.
whatever it is. So,
yeah, good for you. And I'm sure you have a lot of stories you could share, and we could probably make a documentary about 27 years of coaching and all the things that you've seen. But let's talk about first, give us a background a little bit on Fort Calhoun and what the basketball scene is there. You recently started there in the last couple of years, year 2 or year 3? Going into year 3.
Yeah. Year 3. It's a little bedroom community just outside of Omaha, a little over, in town, we only have 1,200 people maybe. But there's a bunch of kids that live on acreages and stuff in between Omaha and Fort Calhoun and then the surrounding area. So our school, we have about 55 to 60 kids per class, public school.
Wow.
And
small.
Yeah, it is small. It is small,
Yeah.
but it was the right place for me at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
When I got out of coaching for 2 years, and that's where the kind of the podcasting and things like that started. And when I considered getting back into coaching, I had a checklist of about 4 or 5 things that had to be in place in order for me to come back in. I turned out I was pretty happy not coaching, but that you get the bug. And so, this is a community that fit all of those things. And, that's been another really, really good professional decision. And we're getting there. Took over a struggling program. They hadn't had a lot of success in the last few years. I think they had won like 10 games the 3 years combined before I took over. So I knew it was going to be an uphill battle.
Right.
But I had talked to some people in the community. There's some kids coming up. And my first year we won 8 games. And
nice. Congrats.
Last year we won 9 and could have made an argument for 10 or 11 or, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But we got 9 and this year we hope to continue to move things forward. And a big part of us moving things forward has been our youth development within the community. And that was something that I wanted to do right away. That had to be a priority. We're not in Omaha. We're not going to have kids that are going to drive from South Omaha to West Omaha to go to school just because of basketball or any other activity. So number one thing was to recruit our own kids and keep our own kids interested and not have them go into Omaha, and to have alignment within our program, have our coaches know what I expected and have them do it. And we're still working on that. Sure. And, like I said, recruiting our own kids, developing our own players, and developing that sense of pride within the community that we can be winners here.
So talk about that a little bit, dive into that. You mentioned 2 things, the pride, which I love, right? The pride of the community, being part of the community. But then also at the very basic level, if you, and this is great timing because you are taking over a program. So what are the things you put in place now, as a structure, an overall structure?
Well,
things that you've done anyway.
Yeah. We've tried to do a lot. Kind of the simplest thing. You're talking about pride. And one of the first things we did is we spent a lot of money on uniforms. We bought our kids nice uniforms on purpose because we were not feeling good about the scoreboard. So we needed to find other ways to have the kids feel good about themselves. And so I kind of half jokingly, but half serious, if you look good, you feel good. And we needed to put various carrots at the end of the stick to get our kids really excited about playing basketball, and that there was hope that you can be good at this. Now that comes with a price. You got to get in the gym. You got to work hard. You got to get shots up in the summertime and all those other things. But we did that. We upped the commitment. We upped the requirement. And it was kind of like, you're either going to come along with us. And we did that with the sense of, we brought a lot of positive energy. We're going to have kids get excited about it. I spent a lot of time talking to kids and getting them excited, trying to get them excited about basketball.
So as a varsity coach, and you coach girls varsity.
Yeah.
Are you working hand in hand in the community with the boys varsity coach? And then, and what are you doing to, bring that sense of pride that you're creating at the high school level down to the youth level?
Yeah. Our boys coach, TJ O'Connor, is great to work with. We try to talk, and we're not in perfect alignment. We're going to have a little bit of a different philosophy on various things, but overall we try to keep, for example, the prices of our program about in the same area. We try to have the same philosophy when it comes to the number of workouts that we ask our kids to be at. We try to have the same philosophy in the number of games, the number of tournaments that we participate in, so forth and so on. And so we have to work hand in hand. Like I said, we're a small community.
Right.
We're not a school with 2,500 kids and we can pick and choose here and there. We've got to share. We've got to have a common message. And between myself, TJ, we have a newer football coach. Our football coach is in his third year as well. And, we've worked really hard to kind of come out with a common vision for our athletic community in general. And that didn't come out, that didn't come about without some bumps in the road. There were some people that weren't happy with some of the things that we wanted to do. But we had to change some perceptions. We had to work on changing some perceptions. We had to show, this is what we need to do. And part of that is, you don't want your son or daughter to get their butt kicked when they're juniors and seniors on Friday and Saturday night. So here's the things that we need to do at the third grade, the fourth grade, the fifth grade.
And what are those? Like, what did you do? Maybe if you could name a few of those things that, and did you go to the youth coaches? And maybe even before you even answer that question, the youth programs across the world, which our podcast reaches, are different. They're all structured a little different, especially in Europe, right? Sure. So maybe just quickly, how do you have YMCA, CYO programs? Rec. What is the rec situation there? Yeah.
Well, we're in a great
long question.
No, it's okay. I've never asked a long question on my podcast. We're in a great situation that we're in a small community or smaller community, but we're right next to a metropolitan area of 1 million people. So we get the best of both worlds.
Okay.
And so I really encourage my directors, my coaches, to go into Omaha and play. We play in a league. It's called the Conquer Basketball League. And each one of our teams plays at least one session in that league. So they get 8 or 9 games there. And then we play. Each team has to play a minimum of 3 tournaments, but we try to encourage 4 or 5. And this is between November and the end of February. So basically at least one tournament a month. We want.
So this is your high school, or this is our youth?
This is
your youth. Okay.
Yeah. And then they practice twice a week. So we try to get them in twice a week. Sometimes we're limited by facilities.
Right.
But we want them to. We want to get our kids from 2nd grade to 8th grade. We want to have them play somewhere between 20 and 25, 26, 27 games in that 4-month stretch.
Wow.
And then practice twice a week, so in theory we're getting about, and if we include our summer stuff and our summer skills sessions and things like that, we're probably at about a 3-to-1 ratio workout to game, ratio. And that's what we're, it's not perfect. We'd love to be the European model of 5-to-1 or something like that, but we're not. And we're going to, and it's that fine line of, we want our kids to work. We want our kids to put in time, but we don't want them to burn out. And we want them, winning the 7th grade trophy does us no good if half those kids aren't out as juniors.
Right.
And I think that's sometimes the problem with the youth stuff is, well, we got to play 50, 60 games and we got to do this, we got to do that. If you play 25 games, playing 35 ain't going to be that much different. Now you can't play 5, but the difference between 25 and 35 is not going to be that big a deal. And I would rather see the kids, once you get to that point, I'd rather see the kids in the gym practicing for an hour and a half with a ball in their hands and working on skill work and skill development rather than playing more games at that point. So
I totally agree with that. I say that often, is I'd rather have, especially at the youth level, to, develop their ball handling skills and get a shot, right? And their shooting technique. Okay. So, all right. So was that in place when you were there? And how do you work directly with those coaches? Are they paid coaches? Are they volunteer coaches? Parent coaches? What's that like?
Mainly parent volunteer coaches.
Okay.
But we're going to sit down here in a couple of weeks and I'll have, we got you got to have the Google slideshow and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But we're just going to go through a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to have a packet for them. And I think it's important for the high school coach and the coaching staff to be available to the youth coaches. And one of the things I emphasize to them is, I do this every day. You do this a couple nights a week, and a lot of times you're working 8 to 5, and then you're rushing home. You're grabbing a cheeseburger from McDonald's, and you're going up to practice at 6 o'clock. And what can I do to help you out in those situations? So we give our coaches a practice template, and it's literally a 1-page thing, and they can and we give them 50 copies of it, and I don't know if we'll ever have 50 practices within a season, but let's say we have 50 copies.
This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Shave ice by the beach. A trip to the state fair. And a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
Propel Fitness Water. With Gatorade electrolytes, zero sugar, and vitamins, Propel hydrates better than water to help you get the most out of your workout and get back to your best self. What propels you? Propel with Gatorade electrolytes.
And they can sit there and go, okay, shooting, this, and ball handling here, and this, and they can put together their practice plan in 5 minutes if they need to, because everything's listed on their sheet. To make it simpler on them, to help them with that.
And are those things, for example, take something really simple, like, for me, what we're teaching the girls at a very young age is the power layup. Mm-hmm. I just found statistically that it's a higher percentage shot. So we're teaching that at, all the way down to, kindergarten level, all the way up. Yeah. So are you giving in that level of detail to say, hey, we prefer this type of layup and here are the reasons why?
Not so far down the line. Yeah. We one of the things that we want to do a better job of, especially going into this year, is to have our coaches speak the same language. So our half court man-to-man defense is red. So we want to hear our, when we go watch our 6th grade team play, I hope they're saying, hey, we're in red. We're in red.
Yeah.
Just little things like that. And what we want to emphasize in our situation, we want to emphasize 2 big things with our youth kids as they go into the high school team. Number 1, we want them to be fundamentally sound. And number 2, we want them to hit the ground running as much as possible within their ability within our schemes, our stuff, and really simple stuff, Bill. I mean, we're talking our basic half court defense, and we have 7 principles, 1 through 7. Get number 1 done first. And then once you got number 1, then do number 2. And then once you got number 2, then go to number 3. And so, we try to simplify it as much as we can for our youth coaches, so that they can, both offensively and defensively, here's the 7 things we emphasize on offense. Here's the 7 things we emphasize on defense. Here's the priorities that they're in, and try to teach that to the best of your ability. We also have a couple of flow charts, if you will. And, by the end of 7th grade, here's the things that they should kind of have mastered at this point. Here's the things that 8th, and we go all the way through to senior year. And so we can show our youth coaches, this is, A leads to B, B leads to C, C leads to D.
That's a good idea.
So it can help them if they're in doubt. Hey, what does Coach Plum really want from us by the end of February? Well, you could take a look at it. At the end of their 5th grade year. Okay, he would really love to see these 3 things mastered. And if you're the coach of the 6th grade team, here's the 4 things that he thinks are really important to be mastered. And if we can get that flow, if we can get that alignment, then hopefully, like I said, once they hit that freshman year and they start playing for me full time, then we can kind of, not have to reteach a bunch of concepts and ideas or thoughts,
Now, is that youth program, though, part of the community of is it public part of the public school system within there, or is it independent?
It's kind of a hybrid.
It sounds like you guys are pretty tight with them. And, where I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, we have our CYO program, which is independent. I'm at Camp Lindo High School. And then we have a rec league that's, also independent. Now I'm involved in both just because I help structure, and for the very same reasons is, hey, if I can help our community level up in basketball, I'm going to do whatever it takes. So just kind of curious how that structure is. And then I'm going to ask you 2 questions back to back. You can riff on them a little bit too, is then if I live in a community where maybe the coach is, not as involved as you or I'm a youth coach, I love basketball. What would you encourage that, let's call them parent volunteer, because a lot of them are, what would you encourage them to do?
Well, I'm going to start with that one first.
Okay. Yeah.
I think you got to bug the heck out of the high school coach. I think, most high school coaches, in most situations. Now, again, you're in San Francisco. I coached in Omaha for 16 years, and I was at a private school for 16 years. So we had kids coming from CYO. We had kids coming from club organizations. We had kids coming in from public school, and they all came to this private high school. And we tried to align that, with certain kids as much as we could, but you're really limited there.
Yeah.
But I think that in that situation, the high school coach is a little bit, his hands are tied or her hands are tied, because they've probably got kids coming in from all over the place. In our situation, we do have that, for better or worse. Here's our 7 8th graders, and we hope they're good, and we're going to work with them, and we're going to try to make them as good as we can. So I think if you're in that situation where the high school coach isn't as involved, I think that you just keep knocking on that door. You say, hey, what do you need me to do? I've got a daughter that's in 5th grade, or I've got a son that's in 4th grade, and they love to play. What can we do to get the youth program going here at West High or St. Thomas High or whatever it may be, to get these kids involved and get kids and going with it? I think that's the key point, and just reach out and we're coaches, we're control freaks. Sometimes you get a little territorial. Sometimes you get a little territorial, but a good coach isn't going to turn away good free help. Now there's free help and there's good free help. You want to have good free help or inexpensive help. And so I think that's probably the best route to go, is just, coach, we want to commit to this. We want to get excited. We want to, we feel like we've got a good group of 6th grade boys here. What are some things that we can do here? And hopefully that coach will buy into that and listen to that concerned person that wants to be involved with the program. So
yeah. And going back to what we originally talked about, culture and changing, let's just call it changing a community. What do you give yourself as far as a timeline? I mean, of course, we want it tomorrow this season, but we know that doesn't happen. So,
it was, I literally laid out a 4-year plan, and tried to go as detailed as you could.
Yeah.
Here's what we want to do in year 1. Here's what we want to accomplish in year 1. Here's what we want to accomplish year 2. And then you tack on another year. So now the 4-year plan is now the 6-year plan, because we're going into 3. Yeah. And part of that is, and I came in during COVID, so that made it even more difficult. That was that made a hard process even more difficult.
That's right. Yeah.
And so the first year was just like, are we even going to have high school practice? Let alone all the things that you wanted to do with the youth organization. Now, we were able to get some things done. I've got a great guy named Brett Greenow, who is absolutely awesome. He has helped me so much since day one, since taking over the job. He has been terrific. He handles so many of the tiny details along the way. Yeah. And I think that's really important. If you're the high school coach, you've got to delegate. You've got to delegate to people that are going to be really involved with your youth program and help you get that aligned. You've got to explain your mission, and you just can't come in and say, well, I want the kids to play really hard, and I want them to learn how to pass, shoot, and dribble. Well, no kidding. What's the plan? How are you going to get there? How are you going to do that? And I think you have to spend a lot of time, putting the plan together of whatever you want, and then get good people and implement that plan and emphasize that plan. And you're constantly, pounding that plan into your community, into your coaches, into your players, and being a constant presence and showing, not only preaching the plan, but showing the plan. We kind of did it in reverse because of COVID. We had to show the plan at the high school level before we could really do it with the youth. A lot of times you would do it with the youth and have it go up through the high school level, but COVID forced us to go top down instead of bottom up. And so then last year we did more when it was not as much COVID. And now this year, where things are as much as can be back to normal compared to what we had in 2020 and 21, now we're kind of looking more at the trees. And we did some stuff with the 7th and 8th grade level last year, but we were just kind of staying afloat with the younger kids. Now this year, we're really drilling down to 6th grade, 5th grade, 4th grade, and here's the things that we would like for you to do and to be more of a presence. And
how much time are you? I'm sorry. How much time do you think you're spending on average with your youth teams?
I try to do a lot in the spring, summer, and fall. Yeah. Because in the winter I've got to concentrate on my varsity.
Yeah.
So I really explain that to the kids and to the coaches, and you wish you had more time. Sometimes it's just as simple as popping in your head. So in the fall, I will be at practice. I'll go to a team, at least 1 or 2 teams practices a week. So we've got,
wow.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just for 20 minutes, a half hour. Sometimes it's for the entire practice. We have a committee, and I have a coach that is kind of the liaison. So if the 5th grade coach has a question, they go to Allie. If Allie can't answer it or help them out with how do we shoot layups better or how do we do this, then they come to me and, okay, let me help you out with this type of a thing.
That's great.
Yeah. And so again, just great support from the people around me. And, but I think it's really important to be a presence. I think you have to show those young kids that you're interested in what they're doing. You just can't expect them to show up. So, and so it doesn't have to be complicated. Stick your head. You get done with your varsity practice at 5:45. You putz around until 6 o'clock, and you stop at the elementary gym on the way out of town, and you stick your head in there for 5 or 10 minutes. Kids, how you doing? This, that, what's going on? Talk to your coaches. And then you go home and have supper with your wife or your husband and your family.
Yeah.
That's good. Especially when you get into the season, you got to keep that balance. You got to keep that balance. So
no, you're right. Yeah, that's right. And I appreciate that. And you're doing a good thing there. And that's the reason why we started this podcast too, is to help and be that voice for youth coaches. We're on a mission to help 1 million kids or positively influence 1 million kids in 10 years. That's our mission. And, we're doing that by helping coaches, right? And leveling them up. So this is really good information. I appreciate it. So we're going to jump into my next segment. Okay. You ready? All right. So remember, put your youth coaching hat on right now. I'm going to give you a few things. You're going to say keep or cut. Okay. Keep or cut. Okay.
Keep or cut. That's my two options.
Two options. Keep or cut.
Okay. All right.
And then if you want to dive into one of those, we have about 6 minutes left here. So, All right. Keep or cut. Shot clock at the youth level.
Cut.
Full court press.
Keep.
Okay.
But, with score limitations, that type of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Zone defense.
Cut.
Screening.
Oh, keep. Yeah. Keep.
I'll tell you the reason why I had that one. Traps.
Keep.
I was surprised. I was talking to someone in, oh my gosh, I want to say Belgium.
Okay.
They in their league, they can't screen or set traps. The youth league. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay.
And like I said, I think that there's, like, with the trapping and the pressing, I think there's got to be, you're up by 15, 20 points or whatever, then you got to pull it off, or you can't trap, or, certain things like that. But I think or what I've seen a lot of is, like you're talking about pressing. Yeah. You can't press the first 3 quarters, but you can press the fourth quarter, or at like a 5th grade level, or, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there should be some modifications
to those things. Yep.
Yeah. The kids can barely dribble, and zone defense, you were pretty like cut, that's pretty strong, right? The kid can't shoot. So
that does nobody any good.
Yeah. Any last words, any last piece of advice that you want to give our youth coaches out there?
Stay with it. You have the opportunity to really help out kids.
Yeah.
And don't get too locked in on necessarily the basketball. Yeah, we want their skills to improve. We want them to be better basketball players, so forth and so on. But focus on developing the whole player. If you have, in most situations, you have 9 or 10 kids on your team, more than likely you're only going to have 2 or 3 of those kids that are ever really going to go on and be varsity basketball players. So your job is not to win the 5th grade trophy. Your job is not to, run a, Roy Williams back screen off the secondary break or anything like that. Make them better basketball players. Make sure they have a great experience. You've done their job. You've done your job. If they're really excited to come back and play again the next season, and they're better basketball players, that they're enjoying that experience. The crescendo of this whole thing, their whole experience is supposed to be their sophomore, junior, senior year of high school. And I think that's the focus that youth coaches need to have in mind, and again, that's going to kind of filter its way down. Those numbers are going to kind of filter its way down. And if the kids are good enough, they're going to be good enough. But keep working with them. Give them a great experience. Make them better, but make them better with a smile on your face that you're enjoying the experience. Clearly communicate your expectations with parents. Focus on coaching the game. If you win, great. If you lose, that stinks. Come back and get better the next time.
Don't be their last coach.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And some kids, that's unavoidable. I get that, but those are the biggest things is, I tell my youth coaches, if we've got 45 kids involved in our youth program at Fort Calhoun, I want 45 kids back again next year.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Because if they're back, that means they're playing. And if they're playing, that means that they're getting better. And if they're getting better, then we've got a chance. Leave it to the high school coaches to narrow down who's going to be on the JV and who's going to be on the varsity and who's going to start, and who's going to get the shots. That's all that other stuff. Just make the kids better. Don't worry about the winning and the losing. it's good to win. It's also good to lose and learn how to come back from adversity. Just make them better. Have them have a great experience. And I love that line that you said there, Bill. Don't be their last coach.
Yeah,
I think that's I'm going to borrow that. I
have to give credit for Steve. Steve gave me that one. So, Coach, thank you. Though we got to jump. Coaches out there, if you're planning your practice, go over to basketballpracticeplans.com right now. Get full season of practice plans all done for you. All you got to do is print and go. We target that customer or that coach you were talking about who is just running from work, stops at the drive-in, grabs a burger, runs to practice. That's who we're speaking with, those busy volunteer coaches. So we got a whole season planned out for you. Marnie, it's been a pleasure. We'll look forward to listening to more of your future podcasts. Thank you so much.
Bill, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I hope I was able to help you out.
Awesome. Thank you.